Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 12th to the 18th of May 2014. This will be a very intense week, as all week we have Mars virtually stationary, standing still. Mars gets ready to turn direct, and this will be the last leg of a story that dates back to the 8th of December 2013, when Mars entered Libra. So Mars has been retrograde for a long time, and now as he turns direct, we will be able to actually see where we take our solar life force energy and direct it with passion and meaning and precision. But until then, we have more pressing aspects to turn our attention to, namely the Scorpio full moon. So before we get to that, the Grand Cross is dissipating. But on Saturday the 10th and Sunday the 11th, we had two very powerful other polarities at play. And that was the Sun opposition Saturn and Mars opposition Venus, respectively. So on Saturday, the Sun opposition Saturn showed us a bit of a reality check, really, where we are structuring our lives, what's actually supporting us, what isn't, where we're being honest with ourselves, a few life lessons to be learnt there. It's almost like seeing into the shadows and seeing what's behind the sun. So we were called inwards, maybe some struggles brought us outwards to realise that we needed to go inwards. But basically the Sun opposite Saturn, quite a harsh aspect and quite a real one, but whatever came up was necessary to learn so that we can structure ourselves going forwards. And with Mars opposition Venus on Sunday, that was a great opportunity again for the male and the female. Oppositions can often bring fusion, like a yin-yang, once we realise that they're just two opposite sides of the same scale. So Mars opposition Venus may well have manifested in male-female struggles, but also where the fusion can be found, where our balance is with ourselves and with others, and that can bring great love and understanding if worked with correctly. So that was the beginning to the week, and then with the Scorpio full moon on Wednesday, this feels like coming up we're going through an initiation process. So with the dark moon first, that calls us to go in and explore the obscure, to really find out what that Saturn-Sun opposition was about, and to really go in and do that final cleansing. I know I keep talking about going inwards and cleansing, but this is a once and for all process that we're going through, so it's worth just chipping away. It's worth being very honest and authentic and keep going on a daily basis. That's Saturn's lesson, so that we don't have to do this again, so that we're all clean and bright at the end of the procedure. So Tuesday is quite a dark energy, but dark in a good way, dark in a hibernatory way, dark in a let's go and do those final clearing up exercises. By the full moon in Scorpio, well, full moons bring everything to the surface. The Sun opposite in Taurus, shining its light across to the moon, and the moon reflects the light back to Earth. So the Taurus-Scorpio axis is always about the polarities of life and death, physical and spiritual, sensual and sexual, and outer and inner. So whenever we get a full moon, we feel a depth charge. We've been happily travelling through the month of Taurus, getting used to all the lovely Maytime energies, and all of a sudden a full moon comes along in Scorpio to show us that the other side of life still needs our attention. It can often be a very, very potent full moon, because Scorpio is deep magnetic water, so it can bring out the passions and the intensity in our lives. So most of the time when we get the full moon in Scorpio in May, it tends to be a very intense, passionate and deep time of year. But it only lasts a couple of days, so again, if we go with this initiation, if we go into the deep, if we take the journey, then whatever comes up will be cleansed on a permanent level. And this is the alchemical journey. Scorpio teaches us to die to the base, to be reborn to the crown. So this is the journey of alchemy that we're talking about here. But by the time we get to Thursday and Friday, we have Venus meeting Uranus, and this is a much fresher, brighter, independent, pioneering, rebellious and quite a comical aspect, which should feel like the light at the end of the tunnel and the sun breaking through the clouds. because it's sparky, it's genius. We've got rid of so much old stuff now that we can actually afford to think brand new thoughts to put our new selves into action. And as Mars goes direct, we'll be able to take that action and make something happen with it. So if we hadn't gone through this whole process first, we may have had misplaced action based on fear or anger or just old goals. But now as we go through this week, we really will be able to step forward by next weekend with a new passion, a clean system, a depth charge that's brought up any past residue just for clearing, and then really clear channels to step forwards, but with a simplicity and an awe of the Fool starting a new journey. So we're wise from the old journey, and we have another feeling of new year really once we get to next weekend, which will see us cleansed. It's like a detox, it's like we've been on a Vipassana or a retreat of some sort, and then we come out clean, but not rushing to fill the gap, but a sense of inner knowing, inner fire, and what our passion is, where we want to place it, what life means to us, and a reconnection with the simplicity of life itself. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week.